Occupational hazards out there in East Rutherford as we say hello to our senior NFL insider, Josina Anderson. Joe, great stuff there with AJ. A fantastic performance, a fantastic interview. And it really is just the beat rolling on how you guys talked about with this Eagles team that's playing with a whole lot of confidence right now. What struck you most about the performance here on Sunday?
Well, first of all, they just have a vibe. They just have a vibe. I mean, when you're in the locker room, you feel that energy post-game. You feel it coming in. And just looking at the matchup, you know, when you talk about even this Eagles offense going up against this Giants defense that was missing Leonard Williams on the defensive line because he had the neck injury, Adoree Jackson out with the MCL sprain. So now that they've got Fabian Moreau and Nick McLeod in that secondary, so you already know that guys like, and with all due respect to them still, but you know, like guys like Devontae Smith, AJ Brown are going to go off. And the way that they played today is much like the way that the Eagles played in Week 4 when they were, playing against the Jaguars in Philly, and it was a lot of rain, and you expected Miles Sanders to have that good ground game as he did for over 100+ yards rushing, because that's what gets it done. But regardless of whether they got that from them, they can do this in so many ways. When they got up 21-0, they had 2 passing touchdowns, 1 on the ground, just, unfolding all the ways in which that they can beat you. And so I was just listening to Jalen Hurts just now in the press conference, and even though he was talking about what it felt like to be clinching the playoffs, he continues to underline that they can't get too high, can't get too low. We see the Cowboys in the last seconds there still clinching, still, staying on the hip with regards to the NFC East. So they know that they have work to do, but boy, it feels really good to cover them from a media standpoint because they're happy, they're performing, and they're doing well.
There's no doubt about that, and it's easy to say all the right things when things are going good. Such is not the case for New York right now, 7-2. To start the season, but without a win now for a month. Can you give us a temperature check on New York where things really turned the wrong direction under the rookie head coach?
Well, it just goes to show you how difficult it is to win in this league and how fleeting a win can be. It just, not that the Giants are going through something simultaneous here or the exact same thing, but it just does, to a degree, make me recall the 2009 Broncos getting off to that fast start in 6-0, and how I believe they ended up 8-8 on that season because, every game is a grind, especially when you start to turn to November and December and everyone is starting to make the playoffs and you got to play in the winter and all of these conditions. It really starts to test you. And then coming in here with Saquon Barkley, questionable with that neck injury. And even though he played, I have to tell you, during the pregame, the way he kind of started it off a little bit tepid and doing certain things. I don't know. I've covered a lot of these games over my 20-year career, and it didn't seem like that it was going to be full steam ahead. And the way that he had just the 1 carry for 4 yards when they were up 21-0, to me, that game plan was unfolding. To have him in there, maybe for the sake of obviously wanting one of your most potent players to participate and also trying to have as much good vibes with the team as possible. But, the fact that he was sparsely used early just to me kind of indicated where they were trying to, start him off just a little bit and not necessarily have him in there. And then once they got down 24-7 coming out of the half, they really tried to use him in that one series right there to get things going. But you didn't see him much after they went up, the Eagles rather, 34-14. And sometimes it makes you kind of wonder whether, when you have a player that's questionable of that star caliber, whether you should just sit them down, because that kind of type of energy sometimes doesn't really help you in terms of the overall game.
That is our insider, Josina Anderson, also playing through the elements. Thank you, Joe.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.